Hi, I'm Sue with today's Bible reading for February 7th, and I'm reading Leviticus 19 to 21. Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to all the congregation of the children of Israel and tell them, You shall be holy, for I, Yahweh your God, am holy. Each one of you shall respect his mother and his father. You shall keep my Sabbaths. I am Yahweh your God. Don't turn to idols, nor make molten gods for yourselves. I am Yahweh your God. When you offer a sacrifice of peace offerings to Yahweh, you shall offer it so that you may be accepted. It shall be eaten the same day you offer it, and on the next day. If anything remains until the third day, it will be burned with fire. If it is eaten at all on the third day, it is an abomination. It will not be accepted. But everyone who eats it shall bear his iniquity, because he has profaned the holy thing of Yahweh. That soul shall be cut off from his people. When you reap the harvest of your land, you shall not wholly reap the corners of your field, neither shall you gather the gleanings of your harvest. You shall not glean your vineyard, neither shall you gather the fallen grapes of your vineyard. You shall leave them for the poor and the foreigner. I am Yahweh your God. You shall not steal, you shall not lie, you shall not deceive one another. You shall not swear by my name falsely and profane the name of your God. I am Yahweh. You shall not oppress your neighbor nor rob him. The wages of a hired servant shall not remain with you until night, or all night until morning. You shall not curse the deaf, nor put a stumbling block before the blind, but you shall fear your God. I am Yahweh. You shall do no injustice in judgment. You shall not be partial to the poor, nor show favoritism to the great, but you shall judge your neighbor in righteousness. You shall not go around as a slanderer among your people. You shall not endanger the life of your neighbor. I am Yahweh. You shall not hate your brother in your heart. You shall surely rebuke your neighbor and not bear sin because of him. You shall not take vengeance nor bear any grudge against the children of your people, but you shall love your neighbor as yourself. I am Yahweh. You shall keep my statutes. You shall not crossbreed different kinds of animals. You shall not sow your seed. You shall not sow your field with two kinds of seed. Don't wear a garment made of two kinds of material. If a man lies carnally with a woman who is a slave girl pledged to be married to another man, and not ransomed or given freedom, they shall be punished. They shall not be put to death because she was not free. He shall bring his trespass offering to Yahweh to the door of the tent of meeting, even a ram for a trespass offering. The priest shall make atonement for him with the ram of the trespass offering before Yahweh for his sin which he has committed, and the sin which he has committed shall be forgiven him. When you come into the land and have planted all kinds of trees for food, then you shall count their fruit as forbidden. For 3 years it shall be forbidden to you, it shall not be eaten. But in the 4th year all of its fruit shall be holy, for giving praise to Yahweh. In the 5th year you shall eat its fruit, that it may yield its increase to you. I am Yahweh your God. You shall not eat any meat with the blood still in it. You shall not use enchantments, nor practice sorcery. You shall not cut the hair on the sides of your head, nor clip off the edge of your beard. You shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead, nor tattoo any marks on you. I am Yahweh. Don't profane your daughter to make her a prostitute, lest the land fall to prostitution, and the land become full of wickedness. You shall keep my Sabbaths and reverence my sanctuary. I am Yahweh. Do not turn to those who are mediums nor wizards. Don't seek them out to be defiled by them. I am Yahweh your God. You shall rise up before the gray head and honor the face of the elderly. You shall fear your God, for I am Yahweh. If a stranger lives as a foreigner with you in your land, you shall not do him wrong. The stranger who lives as a foreigner with you shall be to you as a native born among you, and you shall love them as yourself. For you live as foreigners in the land of Egypt. I am Yahweh your God. You shall do no unrighteousness in judgment in measure of length or weight or quantity. You shall have just balances, just weights, just ephah, and a just hin. I am Yahweh your God who brought you out of the land of Egypt. You shall observe all my statutes and all my ordinances and do them. I am Yahweh. Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, Moreover, you shall tell the children of Israel, any one of the children of Israel or of the strangers who live as foreigners in Israel, who gives any of his offspring to Molech, shall surely be put to death. The people of the land shall stone that person with stones. I also will set my face against that person and will cut him off from among his people, because he has given his offspring to Molech to defile my sanctuary and to profane my holy name. If the people of the land all hide their eyes from that person when he gives his offspring to Molech, and don't put him to death, then I will set my face against that man and against his family, and will cut him off and all who play the prostitute after him, to play the prostitute with Molech from among their people. So you see, this was going on in the region, put it that way, during this time. And giving their offering to Molech, in case you don't know, meant sacrificing your children. giving your offspring to Molech. So this is the kind of atrocity that was going on. This is what the people that God was wiping out of the land were doing. This and much more. It's worse. Verse 6, the person that turns to those who are mediums and wizards to play the prostitute after them, I will even set my face against that person and will cut him off from among his people. Sanctify yourselves, therefore, and be holy, for I am Yahweh your God. You shall keep my statutes and do them. I am Yahweh who sanctifies you. For everyone who curses his father or his mother shall surely be put to death. He has cursed his father or mother, his blood shall be upon himself. The man who commits adultery with another man's wife, or even he who commits adultery with his neighbor's wife, the adulterer and the adulteress shall be put to death. The man who lies with his father's wife has uncovered his father's nakedness. Both of them shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be on themselves. If a man lies with his daughter-in-law, both of them shall surely be put to death. They have committed a perversion. Their blood will be on themselves. If a man lies with a male as with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination. They shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon themselves. If a man takes a wife and her mother, it is wickedness. They shall be burned with fire, both he and they, that they may no more wickedness, that there be no more wickedness among you. If a man lies with an animal, he shall surely be put to death, and you shall kill the animal. If a woman approaches any animal and lies with it, you shall kill the woman and the animal. They shall surely be put to death, their blood shall be upon them. If a man takes his sister, his father's daughter, or his mother's daughter, and sees her nakedness, and sees his nakedness, it is a shameful thing. They shall be cut off in the sight of the children of their people. He has uncovered his sister's nakedness, he shall bear his iniquity. If a man lies with a woman having her monthly period and uncovers her nakedness, he has made her fountain naked, and she has uncovered the fountain of her blood. Both of them shall be cut off from among their people. You shall not uncover the nakedness of your mother's sister, nor your father's sister, for he has made his close relative naked. They shall bear the iniquity. If a man lies with his uncle's wife, he has uncovered his uncle's nakedness. They shall bear their sin. They shall die childless. If a man takes his brother's wife, it is an impurity. He has uncovered his brother's nakedness. They shall be childless. You shall therefore keep all my statutes and all my ordinances and do them, that the land where I am bringing you to dwell may not vomit you out. You shall not walk in the customs of the nations which I am casting out before you, for they did all these things, and therefore I abhorred them. Now remember, that goes with what we read, I think it was yesterday, that he said the same thing. He said you need to sanctify yourself so that the land doesn't vomit you out, because the ones that were there before you became this corrupt, if I can paraphrase, and the land vomited them out. In other words, they brought a curse on themselves. They cursed the land, they cursed themselves. So God is trying to protect them now. So it says, but I have said to you, you shall inherit their land, and I will give it to you to possess, a land flowing with milk and honey. I am Yahweh your God, who has separated you from the people. So he's trying to protect them and take care of them. He's preserving this messianic line for Yeshua, Jesus Christ, the Messiah, to come through. Verse 25, you shall therefore make a distinction between the clean animal and the unclean fowl and the clean. You shall not make yourselves abominable by animal or by bird or by anything with which the ground teems, which I have separated from you as unclean for you. You shall be holy to me, for I, Yahweh, am holy, and have set you apart from the peoples, that you should be mine. A man or a woman that is a medium or a wizard shall surely be put to death. They shall be stoned with stones, their blood shall be upon themselves. Yahweh said to Moses, speak to the priests, the sons of Aaron, and say to them, a priest shall not defile himself for the dead among his people, except for his relatives that are near to him, for his mother, and for his father, and for his son, and for his daughter, and his brother, and for the virgin sister who is near to him, who has had no husband. For her he may defile himself. He shall not defile himself, being a chief among his people, to profane himself. They shall not shave their heads, or shave the corners of their beards, or make any cuttings in their flesh. They shall be holy to their God, and not profane the name of their God, for they offer the offerings of Yahweh made by fire, the bread of their God, therefore they shall be holy. It's interesting because in the procedures that we use, it actually goes by the Code of Regulations, the Federal Code of Regulations, the wording should and shall, and the word shall being, it definitely has to be done. Like, you shall do it. There's no if, ands, or but. There's no decision or judgment being made. It shall be done, as opposed to should, which I guess there was an option. I don't know. But the shall, anytime it said shall, it was a definite. So I think it's interesting that the word shall is used here. They shall not marry a woman who is a prostitute or profane. A priest shall not marry a woman divorced from her husband, for he is holy to his God. Therefore you shall sanctify him, for he offers the bread of your God. He shall be holy to you, for I, Yahweh, who sanctify you, am holy. And there's a lot of shalls that I've read today. It's the MVP word of today's reading. Verse 9. The daughter of any priest, if she profanes herself by playing the prostitute, she profanes her father, she shall be burned with fire. He who is the high priest among his brothers, upon whose head the anointing oil is poured, and who is consecrated to put on the garments, shall not let the hair of his head hang loose or tear his clothes. He must not go in to any dead body or defile himself for his father or for his mother. He shall not go out of the sanctuary nor profane the sanctuary of his God. For the crown of the anointing oil of God is upon him. I am Yahweh. He shall take a wife in her virginity. He shall not marry a widow, or once divorced, or a woman who has been defiled, or a prostitute. He shall take a virgin of his own people as a wife. He shall not profane his offspring among his people, for I am Yahweh who sanctifies him. Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, Say to Aaron, none of your offspring throughout their generations who has a defect may approach to offer the bread of his God. For whatever man he is that has a defect, he shall not draw near. A blind man or a lame, or he has a flat nose or any deformity, or a man who has an injured foot or an injured hand, or hunchback or dwarf, or one that has a defect in his eye or an itching disease, or scabs, or who has damaged testicles. No man of the offspring of Aaron, the priest who has a defect, shall come near to offer the offerings of Yahweh made by fire. Since he has a defect, he shall not come near to offer the bread of his God. He shall eat the bread of his God, both of the most holy and of the holy. He shall not come near to the veil, nor come near to the altar, because he has a defect, that he may not profane my sanctuaries. For I am Yahweh, who sanctifies them. So Moses spoke to Aaron and to his sons and to all the children of Israel. Well, that's it for today's reading. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time.